Alright, we're going into our next series here. It is going to be a PvP, Zest versus Patience. Do we know when this is, whatchamacallit?
I will quickly ask what the score is, whether this is a fresh series or not. I just poked in here to see if, you know, who was casting it, but it was just Maddox, so it's like, oh, okay, yeah, let's go in. Oh, nice, fresh series.
Yeah. Okay, if I can actually get the logos in. Yeah, it's fine. Logos are something that isn't as affected. Like, logos aren't actually affected by the thingy.
Yeah, of course, we will have it set up for game number 2. We're just quickly jumping into this.
Yeah, here's a tip for anybody who's looking. I'll get into it later. And fresh series, you said?
Yep.
Great, we are spawning in here on Everdream LE, ideally Edle, which stands for something or another. Over here in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, it is going to be our blue Protoss, all the way from the land of Korea. He is currently the record holder for most amount of ESL Pro Tour Asia wins, along with his rival, who is on the other side of the bracket. We'll see if that can get done. But he is representing Raise Your Edge Gaming, RYE. Rye. It's pretty good bread. We have Zest.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Everdream LE, we have the Korean Protoss player representing Team LP. He is the Blink Master himself. Does he have epilepsy? No, he just can't stop blinking. It is Patience.
He may not have epilepsy, but he's got a lot of what?
What?
I heard something drop outside. Good old neighbors.
Stay safe, stay safe. And as tradition, we are now getting to the stage of the bracket where we have the PvPs.
Yep. This does usually tend to happen. Not too sure why.
Yep. Don't have too many ZVZs or TVTs, but PvPs, we got plenty of them. It's it's somehow become a thing. And yeah, we'll see how this shapes up, as so far we do have mirrored builds, both players opting to go for those starting adepts. Sometimes we do see adepts versus stalkers, but this time we do have both. And
as is
mate,
tradition,
this just keeps
like
happening.
This just keeps happening. Yeah, you talked about the tradition of where we get into PvPs, and not just PvPs. Proxy Stargate versus non-proxy Robo. Let's go.
Yeah. Or even proxy Robo. It's Stargate and Robo. Somehow, one player, like, they roll a dice. They, like, play rock, paper, scissors, and one of them goes Stargate, the other goes Robo. And here we go. We'll see how this turns out, as we have seen this a lot, like, proxied against each other. But as the Robo... Oh.
Not quite yet. Oh, I love this. I love the shade games that are being played right now.
Oh, he's gonna come out on top.
Oh, Patience is gonna come out on top. You could just sort of see that writing on the wall there.
Yeah.
And you know, Patience, not just the Blink Master, pretty good at shading. Throwing the shades.
That he is. He's all about throwing shade on Twitter. But we'll see, as we do have this Oracle on the way for Zest. And as they went for Adept Openers, you know, there aren't any Stalkers for defense on the other side of the map. Again, these adepts do meet here in the middle. Looks like Patience will finally be cleaned up.
And Zest is back with a vengeance. I don't think he saw the Oracle.
Yeah, I don't think he did either.
If he did, then it was a split second. He does see it now with the Warp Prism. Couple of Stalkers back here, as you know, Patience, this isn't his first rodeo. He knows that if he doesn't scout any tech, then it could always be a Stargate.
Ooh,
and in the end, Zest only able to take out 2 probes.
Yeah, as he was defending with his Stalkers, he immediately threw down a pylon to wall off, so the Shader didn't go through into the main base. So nicely done there, was preemptively setting up for that. But in the end, it does look like the Shader will go through, but there's enough here to defend.
Yeah, Zest can't commit to that. There we go, there's the cancel. Does get a nice scout out though. Just confirmed that it is pretty much just Robo, and Patience is sort of biding his time for his next big tech choice.
That he is, and I'm a little bit worried because Zest, now he does have 2 oracles. Now he can dive in and deal even more damage. But to be fair, there is a shield battery in place in the mineral line of Patience, so he should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, 2
as well.
Yeah, I mean, 2 oracles are enough to one-shot probes, but you have to be really on top of your target firing there. Zest normally is, but let's see if Patience is able to mess with that. Good revelation. They get a nice reveal on this sort of area.
Yeah, it does force Zest back.
Yeah, other than that, just chased away.
Yeah, so far some solid defense, but Zest is diving back in, looking to find some kind of damage.
Zest goes in, Zest goes out.
He's gonna go for it.
That he will. Does actually get 3 more probes here. Not quite able to really tangle the stalkers. That Oracle is on 4 health, literally 1 shot. And now Patience has just about run out of patience. He is trying to end Zest as good as he can. The Phoenix here is actually a really great move from Zest. Just going to be able to put a lot of pressure on that Warpism, make it that much harder for Patience to juggle. Good crowd control as well. That's the other thing about that. And what did we say, Light? Immortals versus Adepts are like Marines versus Immortals. GG is called, and Zest once again proving himself to be the PvP master we know him to be.
Yeah, GG, well played. Zest does take game number 1, and that's the advantage of going for Stargate. You do have that versatility when you get that that Phoenix, as you know, it can ward away, it can deal damage to that Warpism, and it can also CC Immortals. Like that's just so, it's just so valuable when it comes to defending pushes like that, or even attacking.
I'm nodding along there. Yeah, it's... I don't know, I think the time to move out there for Patience, it was something he was building into, right? It's a bad move to move out at that time, right? But what else could he have done? He knew that Zest was ahead, he knew that Zest basically had the ball in his court, and he had to put some pressure on him.
Yeah. I mean, there was the option there to macro out, but he made the decision to try and to basically end the game. And I mean, I don't blame him. You know, the Oracles had just depleted all their energy; they wouldn't be at home for defense. But in the end, Zest didn't even need them.
No, he did not. And speaking of not needing things, here we are on Simulac Rum. Yeah, fiddly LE, buddy, C2-3 with me, buddy. Throw away your keys and slap your knees, because I'm going to need you to get ready. And try to think of another round after that, but I couldn't get one. In the top left-hand corner of the map, spawning in the top left-hand corner of the map, it is going to be our blue Protoss, all the way from the land of Korea. He is representing Raise Your Edge Gaming, the PvP master himself, and we get a taste of the Zest. His best.
And spawning in the lower right-hand corner of Simulacrum LE, we have the Korean Protoss player representing Team LP. It is Patience.
See if his patience keeps up here.
Yeah, and we didn't get to mention it as we were looking at the bracket, but once again, the same three Protosses have signed up. I feel like it's kind of a tradition. Like Stats, Zest, Trap, like every single week now, they're here, they're ready.
Wait, I mean, Stats made his first appearance 2 weeks ago, right? So
yeah,
I'm not sure if we can call it a tradition yet. Like, yeah, I mean, you know,
third week in a row.
Zest has signed up for 20 of these in a row. Trap has signed up for at least 18, because I believe there was once or twice where he was trying to hide builds for GSL.
Yeah, and Stats, he wants in on this action. You know, he sees Trap and Zest having fun.
I mean, I'm not one to gatekeep, but you know, let's hold off a little bit. I feel like we should give it to Creator before we give it to Stats here, Light. Like we should give it to Creator or.
Oh boy. Meanwhile, we do have a divergence in these openers. Instead,
Is this pylon? There's blue on the minimap. There's blue.
Yeah.
Is this Zest pylon?
Yeah.
Why? It's weird. It is Zest pylon. It gets cancelled. Alright, I guess it was for scouting. So good job by Patience. Gonna deny that. Delay his tech until after Zest pylon gets denied or cancelled.
I think he was just trying to disrupt mining. To
that might have been part of it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
because a morphing building has far reduced vision than a complete building. So yeah, I don't know how much it would have seen. Yeah.
Maybe he was hoping that it would complete. That maybe Patience wouldn't notice, you know. Just crossing your fingers and thinking
we are not.
He'll try to build.
He'll
try to build a cannon there and think, why can't I throw it down on the power field? And it's like, oh, that's not my pylon.
It's very possible indeed. As we were talking about it in game number 1, here we have Patience going for his trademark Blink. Is currently researching on his Twilight Council.
Yeah, there's going to be Stalkers versus Adepts from the look of things so far. Zest is actually really invested into these Adepts so far right now. Does not have a Twilight Council, and so these Adepts are going to be unglaved. Does have a Robo facility though.
Yeah, that they are. I'm worried because there are just so many Adepts here. And I don't see a probe in position to throw down a pylon to stop this Shade from coming in. It looks like he will get into the main base. Oh boy.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, the force fields are pretty good though.
Yeah, it's not just Blink that Patience is known for. Well, it's supposed to Blink that he's known for, but you know what I mean.
It's not just what he's good at, we should say. You know, he's not just in that niche of Blink, and yeah, loses 4 workers for I think 4 Adepts. Not too bad. Yeah,
pretty good hold there by Patience. That is, if you can lose 1 probe for each Adept that you kill, that is, it's such a good trade here. Orbis are going to be coming down, and this Adept harassment ain't done. It's just going to be even deadlier.
Oh, Patience sees in the position. His army is the natural.
Patience doesn't see this. Now he does. Zest actually isn't warping anything in, and that's because he wants to rely on this warpism to escape with these Adepts. Zest is planning to use them much later on. I'm so curious right now. What Zest is really focused on keeping these alive, and I'm not just talking about you want to keep your units alive. I'm talking like he is. That is where the bulk of his concentration is right now.
Yeah, I mean, keeping them alive also means that he does force Patience to... Oh, he commits to the Shade. Oh, he focuses down the sentries.
Yeah, I did not quite see those Stalkers in place, and this Warpism is going to go down. That is the Blink that we like to see from Patience. And that's about the end of that harass. Again, 4 probes or 4 Adepts. That's not a very good trait there for Zest, especially considering his Warpism got taken down. Now he's going to be switching up into Blink, and Patience already has Blink.
Yeah, I don't want to underestimate, though, how important it was for Zest to snipe those 2 sentries. They're so valuable in this matchup, especially when it comes to scouting, when it comes to hallucinated scouting. But he did lose that Warp Prism, which is a big deal. And we'll see how much damage Patience can do as he is finally here across the map.
Alright, Zest just needs to buy time for, just buy as much time as he can for now. His Dark Shrine has been thrown down. And not only is that really good for defense, but later on he can use it for Archons. Patience does not have a robo facility, and so he will not have any detection here for a long time.
You know what's a shame? Because those sentries were taken out. Yeah, Patience, he doesn't have the option for high ground vision. Like, typically you would see a hallucination come out for that, so then you can blink up into the main base. So, Patience, like, what he can do with these Stalkers is a little bit limited because of that as well. He's still stuck out here and hasn't seen the Dark Shrine. Has to send Phoenix from all the way back home. Does have the energy for it, which is good. Does also see the Dark Shrine, and that is what he's going for. Patience is looking to bounce on that. Or at least bounce on the pylon. I don't think he clicked on the Dark Shrine. Basically.
Depowering the Dark Shrine isn't a big deal.
True. Like, you don't build anything out of it, but he does spot it, and it looks like he's opting for some damage. Does recall out.
Wow, nice in and out, just in a snap. In a blink, I should say, because it is patience that we're talking about.
There you go.
Such a good move. He knew exactly what he could get away with once the tide started going against his favor. This recall right out.
I'm worried. I'm concerned. There's no cannons being thrown down. There's no detection. There's no Stargate. Oh my god. DTs could do so much damage right now. Patience, what are you doing? You scattered the Dark Shrine.
Maybe he didn't. Maybe he did click on it. I think he thought it was a cannon.
Maybe he thought it was just another pylon.
He thought it was a cannon.
Oh god.
Well, there is a shield battery, so that's gonna be buying Patience quite a bit of time here, but yeah, he does have a lot of DPS here to deal with the rest of Zest's army, but again, these DTs, look at how much damage they've done.
Patience, you scattered it. God damn it.
It's, you know, Zest, he's a PvP master. So, you know, I feel like that also transcends to things that are out of his control, you know?
You know what? I imagine this is what happened. Patience, he knows Zest is a PvP master. He goes in, he scouts the Dark Shrine, he kills the pylon. He thinks that Zest is going to cancel it, right? Like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you cancel it? You know,
because
it's a waste of resources.
DTs out. If you kill the pylon, you can still get DTs out.
You cancel the Dark Shrine, you reinvest your money in something else. Patience assumed that and unfortunately made the wrong decision.
You think maybe he was going on to the assumption that Zest would be worried about the Stalkers pouncing on the Dark Shrine and then Zest would cancel that? You think that was the assumption there? It could
Why
be.
not?
Patience. Sure. Patience, he's honestly God, one of my favorite Protoss players to watch, no matter whether he wins or loses, because he's unique, let's put it that way. Like, both his strengths and his flaws are very unique, and you definitely get a kick out of watching him.
He is very unique indeed, as Zest is the first player to advance to the semifinals, and he will be facing the winner of Scarlet versus Trap.
My guy, either of those players would be such a good matchup. Both of them. They're both players who have a history against Zest in not just ESL Open Cup Pro Tour, but in online events in general. Scarlet and Zest, you know, they have about, I think overall it's about 50-50, but lately Scarlet has really been one-upping Zest, saying, yo, I'm good at CVP now. What up? And Trap is also kind of a similar story there. Zest, as we all know, really good at PvP, but has those moments of vulnerability that online, at least, Trap has viciously been able to take advantage of.
Yeah, I think if you recall, it was last week where Scarlet was able to take out Zest, but then in the end fell to, I want to say, the Shield of Ire. I think she fell to stats after that.
No, last week was when we had the semifinals between Trap and Zest, I believe. And it was Trap taking out Zest 3-1. I think what you're referring to is the other semifinals, which was Stats Solar, which Solar won.
That could be what I'm referring to. But I was also thinking about, there it is. ESL Open Cup Korea 18, where Scarlet 2-0'd Zest, but then lost 3-1 to Stats in the finals.
Nodding along. I think that's that is what it was, wasn't it? Alright, we're going into our next map.